In a world devastated by fire and divine judgment, few stories are as haunting and thought-provoking as the story of Lot's daughters. Found in Genesis 19, this tale goes beyond survival. It's a journey through fear, desperate decisions, and the ripple effects they create throughout history. Picture this: a city consumed by flames, the air thick with ash and smoke. Lot and his daughters, having fled Sodom, find themselves utterly alone, convinced they are the last humans on earth. What happens next is so shocking it forces us to question the limits of morality, faith, and human nature. If you're here for stories that educate, inspire, and challenge you to think deeply about life's biggest questions, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more insights that connect ancient lessons to modern life. And as you watch, share your thoughts in the comments. Now, let's dive into the incredible, unsettling story of Lot's daughters and the powerful lessons it holds for us all. The tale unfolds in ancient Sodom, a city notorious for its rampant immorality and open defiance of divine law. The Bible depicts Sodom and its sister city, Gomorrah, as epicenters of extreme depravity. The residents were infamous for their harsh treatment of strangers, exploitation of the poor, and indulgence in practices that blatantly violated God's laws. Their egregious sins escalated to the point where their deeds were described as an outcry of injustice that soared to the heavens. Deeply disturbed by these reports, God decided to intervene. He shared his decision with Abraham, a man known for his righteousness and dedication to divine service, revealing his plan to obliterate Sodom and Gomorrah as a punitive measure. Moved by compassion, Abraham bargained with God, seeking mercy for the cities if at least 10 virtuous souls could be found. God consented, yet such individuals remained elusive in Sodom. Living among the wicked, Abraham's nephew Lot stood out for his efforts to lead a just life amidst the city's corruption, although his actions were flawed. His salvation, however, was largely influenced by Abraham's fervent prayers and intercession, highlighting the power of righteousness and the impact of faithful advocacy. 2 angels came to warn Lot, urging him to flee the city immediately. Their instructions were clear: do not look back. With urgency, Lot, his wife, and his 2 daughters left behind their home, possessions, and everything familiar. But as they escaped, tragedy struck. Lot's wife turned back, unable to leave her past behind. In that moment, she was turned into a pillar of salt, a vivid reminder of the danger of clinging to sin and resisting God's plan. Lot and his daughters pressed on, eventually reaching the safety of the mountains. They found refuge in a desolate cave, but their world was reduced to ashes. Isolated and consumed by fear, they faced a grim question: what comes next? Now imagine being in their place, cut off from the world, with no sign of life anywhere. The smoke rising from Sodom was a haunting reminder of their loss, and the silence of the wilderness only deepened their despair. Days turned into nights, and their fear began to fester. What if they were the last humans alive? What if their family line, their heritage, was doomed to disappear? In their culture, preserving a family's lineage wasn't just important, it was sacred. To die childless was considered a tragedy, erasing their name and legacy from history. For Lot's daughters, the weight of this responsibility was unbearable. They felt abandoned, cut off from any hope or guidance. The angels had saved them from destruction, but for what purpose? To live in lonely despair? They wrestled with the silence, wondering if God had truly forsaken them. Fear clouded their judgment, and instead of trusting in God's plan, they decided to take matters into their own hands. In their desperation, they devised a shocking plan to preserve their family line, one that would defy morality and have far-reaching consequences. Their reasoning was driven by panic, not faith. They convinced themselves that their actions were necessary, even though they knew it was wrong. The eldest daughter, taking the lead, proposed the plan to her sister: to intoxicate their father and conceive children with him. Their fear of extinction silenced their moral clarity, and they justified their actions as a last resort. That night, they offered Lot wine, not as an act of hospitality, but as part of their desperate plan. Lot drank until he was unaware of his surroundings. Under the cover of darkness, the eldest daughter carried out her part of the plan, bearing the weight of a decision that would echo through history. The next night, the younger daughter followed suit. Again, Lot drank, unaware of what was happening. For the daughters, their actions weren't about desire or defiance, but in their haste to act, they failed to see the deeper consequences of their choice. Instead of waiting for God's guidance, they let fear dictate their actions. Their plan succeeded. Both daughters conceived and gave birth to sons. The eldest named her child Moab, and the youngest named hers Ben-Ami. These sons would become the patriarchs of two nations, the Moabites and the Ammonites. While their actions preserved their family line, they also set the stage for centuries of conflict and complexity. The Moabites and Ammonites would play significant roles in biblical history. At times, they were Israel's adversaries, engaging in battles and rivalries that spanned generations. At other times, they were reluctant allies. Their origins, however, were forever tied to the story of Lot's daughters, a legacy born not of faith, but of fear. Yet, even in this dark chapter, God's grace shines through. From the line of Moab came Ruth, a woman whose faith and loyalty would make her one of the most beloved figures in the Bible. Ruth's story is a testament to God's ability to redeem even the most broken circumstances. She became the great-grandmother of King David and a direct ancestor of Jesus Christ, showing that God can work through human mistakes to fulfill His divine purposes. This story challenges us to reflect on the choices we make in times of fear. Lot's daughters acted out of desperation, and their decision shaped generations. It's a reminder of the danger of letting fear drive our actions instead of trusting in God's provision. The consequences of their actions remind us of the ripple effect our decisions can have. While their immediate goal was achieved, the moral cost was immense. Their story serves as a warning to consider the long-term impact of our choices, especially in moments of crisis. Finally, this story reveals God's redemptive power. Even when we falter, He can use our mistakes for good. From the ashes of Sodom and the moral failures of Lot's daughters came a lineage that would lead to Christ Himself. This demonstrates that no situation is beyond God's ability to transform. So, what can we learn from Lot's daughters? First, their story challenges us to examine how we respond to fear. Do we take matters into our own hands, or do we trust in God's plan? Second, it highlights the importance of considering the consequences of our actions. Fear-driven decisions can lead us away from faith and into moral compromise. And finally, it reminds us that God's grace is greater than our failures. No matter how broken a situation seems, He can bring beauty from ashes and purpose from pain. As you reflect on this story, think about your own life. Are there moments where fear has led you away from trusting in God? Have you ever acted impulsively instead of waiting for His guidance? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Let's start a conversation about faith, fear, and the power of redemption. Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Together, we can explore the lessons of Scripture and grow in faith.